Welcome to Shenkman Education. My name is Marty Shenkman. The topic of this video clip is giving the family business, cow production, to one kid. Many times a family has a business and one of the children is involved actively in the business, and the parents, benefactors if not parents, make a decision that they want to bequeath that home to that particular child. First of all, it should always be done in a trust. You lose tremendous flexibility if it's not in a trust. Should be in a trust. If you bequeath a business to a particular child and that child gets divorced, they could lose potentially a large part of the business. Even if the business is deemed separate premarital property, the growth in the business, depending on state law, may be deemed a marital asset. So never give a business outright. It should always be in trust. But the real issue I want to focus on, let's say you have two kids and you want to give, we're going to call it the son who's in the business, and you'll give the daughter something else. You probably, in most cases, most people, it's not a rule, it's just personal preference, try to equalize the child not in the business for the value of the business given to the child. That itself is very nettlesome. How much do you equalize for? What if the child in the business built half the value of the business? So you need to make decisions. It's probably a good idea to leave a letter to the children telling them what you did and why you think it's fair. It's probably even a better idea to have a conversation with the children while you're alive and make everybody on the same page about this, because it can only benefit them not to have a lawsuit or fight later. Another consideration, if you give one child the business, and let's say you heed this advice and you put that business in a trust to protect him from lawsuits, claims, or divorce. Great. Is that enough? Maybe not. Depends how you write the trust. If you structure the trust so only the child, in our hypothetical, the son is in the business, what happens if a decade from now the son decides he's not interested in being involved in the family business? He's gone off and found himself and decides to be an artist, and your daughter takes over the business. Think of the mess you now had. You have the business either given to your son or better in a trust for your son, but your daughter's not involved and now she's running the business. Is there a better solution? Maybe. I'm going to give you a suggestion. Stick with me. Next, what if your son has 4 kids and your daughter has 4 kids, and you give the business to a trust for your son and his descendants, his family, because he's running the business. Your son continues to run the business, grows the business. All 4 of his kids have no interest in being in the family business, but a couple of your daughter's kids want to get involved and take over the business. Don't you want that business to continue down the generational line? Of course you do. That's why you're trying to do the planning. But if it's in a trust just for one child's family line, how do you get it to the other? There may be ways to do it. You set up a trust. You have one trust do a note sale to another trust. But that's complicated and doesn't necessarily solve the economic or control issues. Here's another thought, just something to consider. What if you set up a robust trust for the whole family, all of your descendants are named, and you create a board of directors? It could be under the structure of being a trust investment advisory board. You can have the kid that's running the business, an outside accountant, longtime family friend, yourself as long as you're able. Comprise an investment advisory board for the trust and make decisions about trust investments like holding the business. Everyone's a beneficiary. You give your son a lucrative contract for managing the company, including incentive compensation based on the growth or profitability of the business, so he's more than well taken care of. But if years from now your son, God forbid, gets disabled, dies, decides to go do something else, your daughter, if she wants to step in, she's also able to be put into those positions. Depending, what if you have one grandchild from each family line that want to take over the business? You can still have a compensation structure, a succession and management structure, but you avoid the issue of the whole asset being really controlled by or in the name of or to benefit one child. So sometimes when you're trying to pass on a business, you really got to go through a lot of what-if scenarios, and you should do it in a generic way going down generational lines. Otherwise, you can't do the planning properly. And a more robust, flexible, irrevocable trust may just be the answer you need. Thank you for joining me. Please keep in mind that all the information on the video clip is for educational purposes only. Don't take any action without appropriate professional advice. For more information, go to shenkmaneducation.com. Thank you.